Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Rashmi and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful bean stitch. For this tutorial I will be using DK yarn and a 4mm crochet hook, but you can certainly go ahead and use any type of yarn that you wish to and use the recommended size of crochet hook for that yarn. We're going to start off by making a slip knot. To do this, you're going to wrap the yarn around your fingertips and make an X at the base of the yarn. We are going to put our thumb inside and grab the yarn from the right. Now I'm going to pull the two bits of yarn down and that creates my loop. Let's put the crochet inside and tighten the loop around the crochet by pulling on the end of this yarn. Now from here we are going to work this stitch in multiples of 2 plus 1. That means you can chain anything that's a multiple of 2 and then you're going to chain 1 extra to start this stitch. So as this is only a sample piece, I'm going to chain 21. So yarn over your crochet, pull through the loop. That's 1. Yarn over, pull through the loop 2. Yarn over, pull through the loop 3. Just like this, go ahead and chain according to your project. If you're making a baby blanket, I would suggest for you to chain anything between 120 and 146 plus 1. I now have my 21 chains. Once you have your desired number of chains, we're going to start working our bean stitch from the very first row. So here I'm going to miss the very first stitch here and the second one and work my first bean stitch in the third chain from the crochet. To do this, you're going to stick your crochet on the top part of this chain like this, yarn over and pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your crochet. Going to yarn over, go back into the same chain and pull up a loop again. This time you have 4 loops on your crochet. We're going to repeat this one more time. Yarn over, back into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Now we have 6 loops on our crochet. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 in one go like this. From here, chain 1 to close this stitch and that makes your first bean stitch. From here, we're going to miss the very next chain and work another bean stitch in the chain after that. So we're going to stick our crochet inside the top part of the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go back into the same stitch and yarn over and pull up a loop. We have 4 loops now. We're going to repeat this one more time, yarn over, back into the same stitch and pull up another loop. Once you have 6 loops on your crochet, yarn over and go through all 6 in one go. Chain 1, 2, close this stitch off. So skipping the next chain and we're working another bean stitch in the chain after that. So stick your crochet in the top part of this chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, go back into the same chain and pull up another loop. We have 4 loops on our crochet, yarn over, go back into the same chain and pull up 1 more loop. Now the total number of loops is 6 at this point and we're going to yarn over, go through all 6 loops in one go and chain 1, 2, close this stitch. Just like this, we're going to follow this same method and skip 1 chain and work a bean stitch in the very next one, skip 1 chain and then a bean stitch throughout this row. I'll see you at the end. At the end of my first row, I have 2 chains left. Skip this chain and work our bean stitch in the very last chain here. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go back into the same stitch and pull up another loop. Let's do this one more time. Yarn over, back into the same stitch and pull up another loop. Once you have 6 loops on your crochet, you're going to yarn over, pull through all 6 in one go and chain 1 to close this stitch. Now to start working on top of this stitch, we're going to chain 1 another time. This is our turning chain. I'm going to turn my work around now. And this time around, we're going to start working in this section of the stitch. So if I pull my stitches apart, you can see that there is a V shape right next to this bean stitch, which is on the left hand side. We're not going to be working anything in this part, which is more prominent and you can see this more clearly. But when you pull your stitch apart, you can see this V shape right there. That's where we will be working our next stitch. So let's go ahead, stick our crochet inside this space and pull up a loop. yarn over, go back into that same space and pull up a loop. Yarn over, back into the same space and pull up a loop. Once you have 6 loops on your crochet, yarn over, pull through all 6 in one go and chain 1 to close this stitch. And just like this, we're going to do all of these. So if I pull the stitches apart, you can see your V shape on the left of your previous bean stitch. That's where I'm going to make my new bean stitch. So stick your crochet in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and back into the same space, pull up a loop, yarn over, back into the same space and pull up last and final loop. Once you have 6 loops, yarn over and pull through all of them in one go and chain 1 to close that stitch. Now, as you may notice that when I'm going into this space and when you pull up a loop, the first one is nice and simple to do. The next one, I do tend to hold those stitches and those loops in place by placing my thumb on it. It makes it a little bit more easier to maneuver your hands and to pull up more loops. Okay, if I don't do this, it does tend to slip off my crochet. So I leave my thumb on there, go back into this stitch and pull up another loop. Once I have another loop, I place my thumb back on it again to secure it in place, back into this space and pull up a final loop. Yarn over, pull through all of these and chain 1. From here, go ahead and work a bean stitch in every single one of these spaces on the left hand side of your bean stitch. I'm here on my last stitch, and on this one you have to turn your bean stitch around and you will see that there is a stitch right here. This was your chain 1 space. So when we are trying to work our last and final stitch, we have to go under this stitch. So stick your crochet underneath this stitch. So when you pull these two apart, you will see a V shape there, so you know that you've gone through the stitch. Okay, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, go back into that same stitch and pull up another loop, yarn over, go back into the same stitch and pull up last and final loop. Yarn over, go through all of these in one go and chain 1 to close. Again, chain 1 to turn your work around. From here, you can use the same method and carry on with your bean stitch and have as many rows as you like. If you enjoyed learning this stitch with me, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.